Welcome to Creatively Exposed, a podcast and safe space for Black and marginalized creatives to empower, educate, and uplift you through the final product of self and creation. Bring a homie, share with a homie, and enjoy the show. Welcome back to Creatively Exposed, and it is season 4, y'all. I am amazed that we are here. It is 2021, which is wild to me. And I would have thought that I would have rested, but here we are, you know? It will be an interesting season 4. I finally have some really old interviews mastered and done, so that's dope, and that's coming soon. And there's a lot going on, as per usual. In this year, the Estuary Collective that I am a part of, which is a Black femme collective of 4 really dope poets, including myself. And we are here to further the safe spaces and the creative spaces where we can build, support, educate, and hold safe space for poets, writers, and Black folks especially. And so this week, it's Sunday. This week, we are hosting Lip Service, which is an ode to our favorite lipsticks and all folks welcome, while also having amazing poets. So if that is something that you are interested, then the link is in the show notes. What else do we have? We have craft talks, workshops coming up. Okay, you can hear the people upstairs looking like they are causing themselves harm. Anyway, this is the life of living in an apartment. I needed a moment of silence. And so I'll definitely be putting the Twitter account so you can check what we have going on. What else? There's some really cool projects coming up. I will let y'all know when I can let y'all know. And in this new year, I've actually been thinking about this for a while, but I think that what's the one thing that I don't feel like creatives talk about enough? Help. And so that's the vibe that we're gonna be going on. What happened last week happened last week. I don't have the energy. All I can say is astrologically, buckle up, stay ready, and if it is not in your vicinity, mind thy business. But who am I? I'm not some political what have you. That's just, I'm not surprised by anything that has happened, and stay ready. So let's talk about help for creatives. I think when we see people being successful or what have you, no one is doing this by themselves. And so the biggest struggle that I have had, especially last year, is the concept of asking, being able to feel, I don't know if it's worthy enough, but being able to feel comfortable with asking for help. Also accepting that there is nothing wrong with you if you need help, right? And being open to the possibility that you may or may not get it. So in creating a business and being creative and a one woman everything, I realized that in doing pop-ups and doing events and all of this stuff that I need help. And so it's amazing to be offered help without having to ask. That's like in the perfect world, right? But the world is not perfect, as we can see. And so I feel like, and y'all can definitely like hit me up and tell me your thoughts, but I feel like being a Black woman, being Afro-Latina, it's as if you failed because you need help. Carrying the whole thing on your shoulders is like the expected thing, right? And so I did struggle with the fact that it's like I started my business, I started my poetry book, I have decided to do all of these things. And so therefore, why should I burden somebody else with my need for assistance? Which, saying it out loud sounds crazy, but these are things that I have internalized based on the things that I have seen around me. And so it's hard to ask for help because it's felt like, everyone else has comparison game. Never really good. Everyone else has done all of these things and their parents and their all of these things and they're getting their stuff done. But like high key, most times, like if we think about famous folk, they have nannies, they have somebody cleaning, they have chefs, they have all of these things. And so I think in order to receive help and to delegate and to say, hey, I'm going to be vulnerable right now, like, I don't got it. And you bringing that table will ease my ability to thrive. And I think that's really the biggest thing is like, are we still surviving or are we in thrive mode? And so, in order to thrive, we need to release some of the burdens, man. And so I would like for us to normalize the ability of collaboration, of opening up that throat chakra and expressing the things that we need and want from others in order for all of us to thrive. Because if you're winning, that means that other people can't, because you're creating a space for other people to thrive in a different way than what we have been taught of self-sacrifice and overworking and burning ourselves out. And so think about help, I think is really the thing. If something is not your strong suit, it's totally okay to find someone else who can do it. Compensate people for their time. I think that's another big one, and it doesn't always have to be monetary. We can barter, like we can create communities and systems within each other. And most times, what I have learned is that when you have a really dope network, an ecosystem, which is what I love to call it, of really dope creative people, people are willing to help. One thing is that you're completely passing on everything to somebody else and making them do your work. That's not what we're talking about, right? But equal energy in all things is how we rise. It's how we flourish. It's how we nurture things. Like, if you look outside, the random wildlife just be, right? And so in our creative pursuits that feel so lonely sometimes, so like solitary and isolated, it's cool to have somebody be like, hey, I don't really know how to word this, or review this thing for me when you have a chance. I'm working to submit something. What are your thoughts? And you know what ends up happening? The magic is in that moment. Because what happens is that there's a collaboration of minds, and you created this world, like, idea. I'm world building and creating this story, and now it has to be compressed right into a short story. How can I elevate this that is supposed to probably be a multi-novel situation? Here's how. In my case, English isn't my first language. You wouldn't know that. You wouldn't realize it. But the way my brain translates and defines and puts words together, when you read some of my work, you'll realize quickly, like, oh, there's, passive voice is a really good one that an old teacher used to just slam me with. And it's like, no, I do conjugations and et cetera, et cetera. But if I'm looking to submit something and have it be up to par with what is being looked for, I'm going to need other people to read it and see if it makes sense. Because I see the whole movie, right? It's playing in my head. I see the characters. Everybody makes sense to me. But no one else sees that movie unless I'm writing it properly. And so I thought I wasn't great at writing until I realized that editors matter. Editors, reviewers, readers, people who are willing to really take a magnifying glass to your work and say, this can be better this way. Eliminate this isn't necessary. Like, sometimes it hurts, right? And sometimes you also have to be vocal in the fact that some people will say, hey, remove this, but it removes your voice. And so there's this, there's this equal give and take of being able to have someone assist you, but also don't allow somebody to like just run over your work, right? You're still the creator of that piece. Take what resonates, take what makes sense, and then say, hey, no, I'd rather keep this here, but I can rework it. And so in being a creative, I did struggle a lot with like rereading my work and editing. Editing. But wow. The growth of my writing has only existed, I don't like that terminology, but has elevated because of the people who have been willing to read, and it's collaborative. So I think for this year, it really feels like collaborative energy between creatives, between healers, between spiritual folk, between people. And so, like, what can you receive that will help you thrive from somebody else? What can you let go of that may be somebody else's strong point? What can we exchange to be like, to move forward faster? Like, there's literally a saying, I think it's like an African proverb or something, but like, by ourselves we can move forward, but together we move faster. It might be African, Asian, I don't know, somebody's proverb. And that's legit. That is absolutely legit. And so let's think about 2020, y'all. It was ragged, but it has also, at least for me, right, in between